Hey, so in this video, I want to talk about why ChatGPT gets most businesses wrong and why businesses fail to show up or they're invisible in ChatGPT. So in the first video, we discussed how ChatGPT finds its results through clarity. It's different to the traditional models. So essentially what to look at now is when it's not getting the right results for businesses, the results can feel kind of a bit generic. They're not perfect. They're a little incomplete. Potentially, some of them are wrong. It comes down to two things. One is what you're actually asking for and what the business has out there on the internet in terms of data for the AI model to read and bring back the result to the question that you're asking. So it's not a model failure of AI. It's what it is an interpretation failure. So I'll do another video on how to be specific with prompts, how to use AI better, how to use ChatGPT better, because again, most people are using it wrong. They think just one prompt is perfect. A common misconception is don't think of it like Google. It doesn't work like Google at all. It is completely different. Google takes different signals through paid ads or through SEO to actually show you the results that you're looking for. It doesn't search the way Google searches. It doesn't rank the way Google ranks, and it doesn't return the results the way Google returns the results. The results you see on Google are through years of technical SEO and knowledgeable SEO people that are able to work with their algorithms that change constantly and second guess what Google's trying to do for that brand. That's why SEO has been around for the longest time, because as soon as search engines came about, then there's a way to, okay, we need our result at the top, or we need to be on the first page, or we need to be in the local pack, or whatever it's going to be. In reality, ChatGPT is completely different because it just synthesizes the understanding that it's getting from your business. So what I mean by that is it can only work from the data that it knows. So the more data you can give AI, that is specifically citable, i.e. it can quote you about your business in a little snippet or a little like a sound bite for a video. If it can use that quote and if it trusts that quote because that quote is backed up by multiple sources through your brand and through your different social channels or different media channels or PR channels that you're working with, then that is what it's going to understand about your brand. It doesn't use links, it doesn't use backlinks, it doesn't use any of those kind of things that we use for traditional SEO. So how it really operates is it builds an internal model of a business. So it tries to look at your business, whatever business it could be. It could be a dentist, and it could be, the largest retailer in the world, or it could be a huge Fortune 500. What it does is it builds an internal model of that business for all businesses. As long as you have information on the internet, it will find that information. It relies on patterns and associations. So patterns between, is your brand mentioned and the same things are being said over and over again? Are they positive? Does your brand solve specific problems for people over and over again? Are the reviews correct? Are the people on Reddit forums positive about your brand? Do they talk about how your company solves a problem for them or your product is perfect for them? So, again, we'll touch on Reddit in future because it's a big point in where ChatGPT gets answers from. So why businesses get misunderstood is that the messaging that you put out there can make sense internally, but not externally. So using lots of acronyms that can be done in a lot of businesses, not necessarily easily understandable by ChatGPT. It's smart enough to figure that out. But be specific. If you're going to use acronyms, use the full language. If you're using broad language, just like we're the best or the best in the valley or whatever it's going to be, that's too broad. And the positioning is vague. We're the number one in the country. They don't know that. It doesn't know that unless you back that up with data and awards and people saying that you're the best. So what that really means is you assume the context like a human would about your brand, but AI doesn't have that. So imagine it is a completely new human that's come to our planet, and all it's trying to do is learn everything about everything on the planet quickly, very, very quickly, and trying to be smart about it. So it's kind of like, this whole process is it's looking for what is the best, what would I recommend to people? If someone asked me this question, what is the most reliable data that I have to answer that question specifically? Do a simple test here. If you go to ChatGPT, and when you ask ChatGPT, what does my company do? It's very telling in terms of the response that you'll get. If it feels generic, or it's off, or it's not really what you think your brand is, it's a good reset for yourself and for the company, or for your brand or your product, because that is exactly how AI sees your business or your product. So why does this impact discovery in AI? Why is your business or your brand not being cited for certain questions that you think it should be? And traditionally, it might, show up for these questions in Google, in a Google search. It's because AI answers questions at the moment of decision. So if it can't explain you specifically as a business, it can't really recommend you, because the person is being very specific about what they're looking for. So visibility, which you usually get on traditional search channels, is being replaced by interpretability. What it's interpreting is your brand versus just, if you're all over the internet. Doesn't really matter. So what is this really about? It's not about prompt engineering, figuring out which tools are best for you. It's about clarity of proposition for your business. One of the insights really to think about is, if you look at the AI models and how they're reacting right now, it will hesitate when it's uncertain. I don't mean it slows down. What it means, it's not given the right kind of answers, or it'll ask you a follow-up question to clarify what you're really looking for. Maybe the prompt isn't perfect, but uncertainty around your brand leads to a mission of your brand, or certainty around your business leads to a mission of your business. If it is not certain, you're not going to show up. You're not going to show up in ChatGPT. You're not going to show up in AI or any of the other models. What does that really mean, and how do we tackle that? What I'm going to follow up with next is, I'm going to show you some live examples of what I'm talking about here, of real businesses where you would think they would be shown because they're even big brands, or even small brands, and they're brands that or they're not brands that and they should be showing up. And then we'll look at how ChatGPT really interprets them together, and then we'll see where the gaps are. This next video will really matter, and you want to watch this if your business relies on being cited and chosen in ChatGPT, which I think most businesses are going to be in 2026. And then we're going to continue our journey from there.